Today's vlog, we're just making a vlog happen, okay? So, let's get to it. Okay, so not a whole lot of vlogging has been happening the last few days, and that's mostly just because we were away and we were at a conference. It was a great leadership conference where we were learning lots and hanging out with a lot of friends from all over. And so I didn't want to spend all the time vlogging when we only get to see those people like once or twice a year. And there's lots of them. We were out late and hanging out and chatting, and it was super positive and loved being around good people. So anyway, it kind of like just put me out of the regular rhythm of vlogging. So even like yesterday on the flight home, I started, but then just like couldn't get into it. So it's Sunday today. It's the middle of the afternoon. I don't have a lot of time, but we just need to put something out there, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about creativity and why that is so important. So let's get out of this house. I've been on this quest to find like a really thin toque, and I think I finally did. Eddie Bauer, which I don't think I've ever shopped Eddie Bauer in my life, but they got me with a Facebook ad for a really sweet jacket, which is right here, which I never would have thought you could get at Eddie Bauer. Look at this thing. It's called a Cadet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, and then I asked if they had any really thin toques to go under my booster board helmet, and they did. Let's see if it works. It does. It works. The interesting thing about like creativity is that creativity doesn't just like happen. Creativity isn't also just for like creative people. I think everybody's creative in their own way. Now you've got traditional creatives, which may be in like designers or artists or musicians, but everybody as a human being creates stuff. That could be like creating lines of code for apps, or it could be creative ways of, you know, being a parent or speaking, or there's so many different ways. Even, you know, sports is a hugely creative element in bringing creativity to the way that you play and do things. And if you don't create, I think you just like, you die a little bit on the inside and you never find like that great life. And so for me, if I haven't created something in a few days, I start going like crazy, like I just need to get out there and create something. I actually get a little bit like depressed almost. So after a few days of, you know, not vlogging or doing photos or, you know, really much of anything creative, it was great hanging out with people. And obviously that's a huge important part of life, but I think for me to get my own energy, I need to be like creating stuff. And so I'm just forcing myself to make something today. Just me out and about going to the grocery store, riveting stuff. This out. There's some creativity. We have a lot of like really good mural painters around the old Regina. It's pretty sweet actually. With this beanie cap, maybe a little. We're having people over for pizza tonight, homemade pizza. Gotta get some toppings. Might be just a little too early to be hitting the eggnog. I think we can all agree that pineapples on pizza is an abomination. I guess we can't all agree because some people like it. That's why we're getting it.
503.
something else that kills creativity is when you expect to put out your best work every single time. Life just doesn't work that way. Like, you think that creativity is a linear thing where you go from like not great to great. I think lots of times there's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 5 steps forward, a step back, 4 steps. But if you stop putting it out when it isn't your best work, I think that kills creativity. I think you just gotta keep putting it out no matter what happens, no matter what you feel about the situation, no matter how you feel about the work. Just keep creating relentlessly, and then you get better over time. But if you look at each individual piece, you're not gonna make a masterpiece every single time, but maybe 1 out of 10 will be a masterpiece. But if you don't put out the 9 that aren't masterpieces, you never get to the masterpiece. Just a thought, something to consider. Every parent in the world can relate to that moment. Okay, last thing I'll say about creativity. Creativity takes some skill too. So if you're struggling to create, maybe you do need to find some like education, whether that's like online tips, tricks, tutorials, or maybe picking up a class, or finding something that gives you that little bit of burst to help you with creativity. Or sometimes creativity requires good tools. For me, lots of times, like when I'm looking to get into something new, I typically will try and buy something that gets me excited about creating, whether that's like maybe a camera or a new lens for me, or sometimes it was like buying a guitar, or, I mean, those are all big purchases. They don't have to be big purchases. If you're a writer, go buy yourself like a fancy new pen that's maybe like $30 or $40. I don't know, something that gets you excited, or a new notebook, or really anything that's just gonna give you a little bit of that accountability where it's like, I bought this, I better do something with it. So do that, you'll be a little bit more creative. This is like a weird Sunday vlog, but it is what it is. It's what I had for today. Had to put something out. So, there you have it. Okay. Okay, so